Are you ready to branch out, to take a leap of faith, to love yourself and others fully? Then let go of whatever no longer serves you to take action now on Get Rooted Radio with Erica Gifford Mills, living it up, loving it up, and letting it go. Erica will energize and excite you to power up your passionate dream that sets your soul on fire. With Erica's E3 approach, equipping, empowering, and enlightening yourself so you can be yourself for yourself. Get ready and get rooted to live a life without regrets, without what ifs, without should haves, and especially without empty feelings from a life unexplored. This hit show helps you build powerful and intentional roots to live it up, love it up, and let it go. Get fearlessly ready and powerfully rooted in your yes with your host, Erica Gifford Mills, and be fearless about your more and stand in your yes. Now on Get Rooted Radio.
Welcome, everyone. I am Erica Gifford Mills, and you are listening to a special edition of Get Rooted Radio, living it up, loving it up, letting it go, right here on Transformation Talk Revolution. A shout out to my producer today, Jessica. Thank you so much for what you are doing and for these special episodes and taking the time out and allowing me to share a very important topic of military mental health awareness.
Awesome. Well, you know what? Grateful to be a part of it all, and thank you for sharing the messages.
Well, today's special episode is titled Grief, Community, and the Courage to Continue. And as you know, grief isn't something we fix. It is something we learn to carry. And in this episode, my guest and I, Amy Zell, will explore how loss reshapes us, how healing happens not in isolation, but in connection. And we'll talk about the power of community, the importance of suicide postvention, and how simple acts of presence can make a lasting impact for those navigating loss. Through the Maker Empowerment Method, we also uncover how creativity can help us reconnect with meaning, purpose, and hope. Essentially, at the core, this episode is about transformation, turning pain into service, advocacy, and impact. But I want to tell you a little bit about my guest. Amy Zell is the founder and executive director of Grief and Loss in Motion, a nonprofit organization based in the Mahoning Valley, I'm going to mispronounce that, Mahoning Valley, that provides compassionate support for individuals and families experiencing suicide, loss, and other traumatic grief. After the death of her son, Tyler, Amy transformed her personal grief into a mission to ensure that no one faces alone, especially a loss. Through her work, she has helped develop community-based postvention services, including the Trumbull County Loss Team, which responds alongside the coroner's office to provide immediate support to families at the scene of a suicide loss. Amy works to transform grief into connection, meaning, and hope. And I thank you so much for all that you do, Amy, and thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here.
So let's talk about you a little bit more. So prior to Grief and Loss in Motion and in the amazing work you're doing, what was your background before?
Oh, geez. When Tyler died, I was the community relations manager at Barnes & Noble. Books were my thing. We ran First Book Mahoning Valley, so we gave books to children who didn't have home libraries. So we gave them like 12 books to start their home library without our community, and he was a huge part of that. He absolutely loved getting together with other kids and making sure they had their home libraries. Yeah, books were my thing.
I love that because as an author, I love books.
Exactly.
So what, I guess, like grief changes us, right? I think we all know that. But in what ways have you found grief changed you?
Oh, I'm not even half the person that I was before, or I am twice the person I was before. It all depends on what day it is and how you look at it. And that's part of what grief does to us. I always tell people that I lost all the best parts of me when he died. But at the same time, we know there's post-traumatic growth. Not that we would ever put that on someone else. I don't like to say someone else is going to experience post-traumatic growth. But I know that I have. And that has changed everything about my world. Everything.
So you've really learned to live alongside as opposed to trying to fix that grief, right? And fix the feelings. You've learned to walk alongside it. How do we do that? How can someone learn to do that when it's hard, right? When you're going through all these emotions after a loss like that we both experienced.
It's so hard. I know I used to explain it that my grief was like one of those big black weighted blankets that went over my head. And when I would try to peek out, I'd realize an elephant was sitting on the edge of it and there was no way I was going to look. And through the years and through a lot of hard work, because we have to do our work on our grief journey, it doesn't just change because of time. We know that. One of the most important things we need to remember is grief doesn't need to be fixed. It needs to be witnessed. We need to spend our time in it. We have to recognize that there's a portion of our time after a suicide loss where we are focusing on how we lost the person. And when we can get past that time and we start our actual grief journey and we go back to remembering the person that we lost, that's when we start to integrate the grief. So our goal is always to integrate. And now I say my grief walks alongside me and holds my hand. When I get nervous about something, I'm like, oh, I did that. I made it through that day. I made it through the day after. I'm still making it through every day. So why am I nervous about this? So I really befriended my grief.
And I like how you said that. It doesn't need to be fixed. It needs to be witnessed. And that I think it makes complete sense, but just saying that out loud is so true, right? It needs to be honored. It needs to be seen. And then we can, like you said, hold its hand and take it along with us, not as added baggage, right? It's I always say that, you don't want to unpack and stay there, but you don't have to carry it along with you, but it does go along with you because it's part of you now.
Yes, absolutely. It's completely part of us. And that's why it's so important that we have good support because it's that sharing that with other people. Grief is the internal feeling, but mourning is bringing it outside ourselves. When we start doing that mourning with other people, that's how we start to make those transformations.
Yeah, and during next segment, we are definitely going to be talking about community support. But I like it because as you're saying, is that everybody grieves differently. There is no timetable. Some people do things differently than another person, or their journey is going to look different because they are a different person. Just like when there is a death of a loved one, different loved ones are going to do a different journey, even when it's the same person they lost, because it's a different relationship. It's a different feeling. And when you say witness, people have different perspectives, and that's where we have to respect that. And we have to allow people to grieve in their own way and their own time, without getting over our skis, right? Getting over the holding our boundaries and not crossing somebody else's boundaries. So not just our own boundaries, respecting ours, but respecting other people's and not making assumptions.
Right. Yeah, we always say in our groups, I always share that it's not just that we all grieve differently, but we all grieve each loss differently. So after something traumatic like a suicide loss, a loss that you would have expected to not be as painful, because we know that we have some losses that don't hit as hard as other ones. But after a traumatic loss, all of those losses tend to build on top of each other. So one that might have not affected you may remind you of that and take you right back to that space. And one that you think should have affected you a lot, you might be like, okay, I was ready for that. So we also grieve each of those losses differently. We can't expect that our reactions are going to be the same, even for ourselves. So getting rid of those expectations and giving freedom for that grief to just be seen the way that it is so important. There's so much stigma around grief in our community. I mean, we talk about the stigma of suicide, but grief, when you bring a baby home, you get 6 weeks time off, and now you can get paternity leave. Someone in your family dies, you get 3 days. Get over it. You're done. And that's not possible. We know that that's not something that we ever get over, something we always carry with us.
And I think that's just it. We're a very grief adverse society. We don't know how to talk about death and loss. And so it's very, and then you throw a suicide in on top of it, right? I don't know how many times somebody would ask me, oh, your son was in the military. Did he die in combat? And I said, he took his own life. And they go, oh, and it'd be all of a sudden this whisper. I'm like, no, you don't need to whisper. I said, because if he would have died in a car accident or anything else, there wouldn't have been a whisper. That's what we have to get over, right? We got to get through that part, because that's just as bad as the stigma of mental health, right? Mm-hmm. And we have to, if you can't talk about it after it's done, how do you talk about it before? So we gotta break that real big. But we're gonna take a quick break, because I'm gonna want to start talking about community support, and that's the next segment. So when we come back, we're gonna give that a round of discussion. But before we go, Amy, tell folks how they can connect with you, learn more about what you're doing, and learn more about grief and loss emotion.
Okay, so our website is suicidepostvention.org. Postvention is that follow-up care after a suicide loss. So we use that, recognizing that postvention is prevention. Our phone number is 330-506-1232, and you can follow Grief and Loss in Motion or the Trumbull County Loss Team on Facebook.
Wonderful. So let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we are going to continue our discussion. You are listening to Get Rooted Radio with Erica Gifford Mills. Living it up, loving it up, letting it go. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Are you passionate about impacting social change or working towards anti-racism as a society? Are you willing to deconstruct your innermost thoughts, ideas, and beliefs about racism? Then Inflection Point Podcast, Cultivating Change from the Inside Out, is the show for you. Join Anita Russell, Mavis Bauman, and Gail Hunter in open, honest, and deliberate conversations every first and third Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, only on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Pat. I'm the host of the Dr. Pat Show, and I am the creator of the Transformation Network, doing what we do in the world of positive radio, informed, educated, positive media. Independent radio hosts and independent networks have been the face of positive messaging over the past decade. So all of us here have decided we're going to put together an independent network that is going to enable people to bring their positive message of hope, inspiration, and conscious action to the forefront. Help us create a future of amazing, uplifting stories that can be told, so we can tell our children and they can tell their children of what hope and conscious action is all about.
I want to thank you all for tuning us in, turning us on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
Do you want to become a host? Start your own podcast to inspire, persuade, and influence others on what you're passionate about? At the Transformation Network, we can help make your talk radio dreams happen. Let's take your hopes, dreams, and passions and put them on air today. Email us at host@transformationtalkradio.com to learn more about becoming a host of your very own show.
Welcome back to this special episode of Get Rooted Radio with Erica Gifford Mills. Living it up, loving it up, letting it go. If you missed any portion of today's episode, you can catch it on GetRootedRadio.com. Don't forget to subscribe online to receive the latest news, events, specials, and words of encouragement. Go to GetRootedRadio.com. Welcome back to my guest, Amy Zell. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, so during our first segment, we learned a little bit about your backstory, your origin story, if you should say that. And we discussed how grief changes us. And then during this segment, we're going to talk about community support, and the importance of that suicide postvention. So let's just start off with, and I know it sounds obvious, but why community matters after loss and how simple acts of presence can make truly a profound difference. So what have you seen, one personally for you that worked, but now in your work of, going out there immediately after an event? What have you seen? How have you seen that change people? And why does that matter? And what are some simple acts of presence that people can do that mean more than they ever know?
Okay. So a lot of times going out on the scene, it's just being there, having the ability to walk into the space that gives comfort to the survivor. When that happens and everything's shattering around you, that first thought is, I'm never going to be okay again. So just having a survivor show up at your door and say, here I am. I've been in your seat. I don't know how you feel, but I've been in your seat. Yeah. We can get through this. And knowing that there's someone else.
And I think that's key. What you just said is that I don't know. I know how you feel, right? It's having that empathy and saying, I've been in your shoes, because we don't know how anybody feels about any sort of loss, right? Mm-hmm. It's just like I was about cancer treatment. My cancer, we might have same exact diagnosis, same exact type of breast cancer, but my treatment could be different. Well, my body's different than yours. Everybody's journey is different, so even in and especially in grief. So I think that's a really important key phrase, is that not, I know how you feel, but I've been in your shoes.
Yeah. And we try to make sure that we express that with people all the time, so that when people are approaching other people, we stop saying, I know how you feel, or I know what that's like, or I can relate to that. And instead saying, I've been through something similar. Just that little bit. There's that understanding there. Connecting with other people is so important. We find that if we meet someone at a scene, they are more likely, there's a study that shows that it takes like 18 months for them to go to support group and find additional support if you see them on scene, or it could take up to 4 years if you only saw them at a tabling event, and even longer if you didn't see them at all. So that's our goal, is to get them that support. I don't want anybody sitting in the living room in the dark holding on to their child's urn crying for weeks and no one checking on them. I know that we bring value to the people that we've provided support to through the things that they've shared. It's really hard to be the person who does that and say that, but I've had people who have called and just felt completely lost, and then saw one of our advertisements for our butterfly release, where we bring everybody together and we have a reading of the names and you release a butterfly. And just that connection for that little bit where they can stop and celebrate their person instead of focusing on that loss. And doing it with a group of other people, looking around and saying, there are people out there. There is someone who understands what I'm going through. There is someone who's walked this path before. I'm not completely alone in this. It's very important.
Just where you can sit in silence with them. And this isn't an I statement. I don't want to, say what other people might do, but sometimes I just want somebody there, even if they're in the next room, and I don't want to talk, but I just want somebody there. But I want to talk, just be there and be in my same vicinity, and knowing that if I wanted to talk, I could, but I didn't have to. And I know that for me was just great. I don't want to have to say how I'm doing, but if I know I could if I wanted to, or if I felt the need to. So when you say, that simple act of being present, literally not saying anything, not bringing anything, not doing anything. You're just there. You're watching a TV show with me.
Yeah. We do companion with our volunteers so that they understand how to do that when we're providing support. Understanding that the person who's grieving is the expert, not us. They know what their grief is. They know what they need.
And I love the term postvention, right? So what is the importance? What have you found the importance of suicide postvention and supporting families in the immediate aftermath of a loss? How have you found that to help during the grieving process?
It helps people start the grieving process, for one thing. A lot of times you sit in that, if I don't stay connected with my pain, then I'm not honoring the person I lost. If I smile, then they didn't matter. There's all these misconceptions that we often feel, especially
Mhm.
after a suicide. And it's okay that we feel them. That is a perfectly typical response. That's okay. But connecting and understanding postvention helps go through those, helps us find other avenues, helps us understand that when we laugh again, we're still honoring our person.
Yep.
When we continue to move forward, we're taking them with us. We're not leaving them somewhere. We use continued bonds. They're still very much with us. Even if you're a science person, and you're not thinking that they're there spiritually, scientifically, energy that's created cannot be destroyed. So where'd they go? They're still here somewhere. So we can still understand that they're part of what we're doing as we move forward, and we can still live a full, happy life if we do the work to get ourselves to where that grief is integrated.
Where where would you think that additional community support is needed? Meaning in a perfect world, right? And I'm saying community as a whole, right? Society. Where do you think that we could do better as a society on support?
So I love that because I am working on writing a grant for that right now. One of the things that I'm finding, at least in our community, is there's a disconnect at the time of loss. So suicide loss, yes, we go to the scene. Some counties have overdose response the same way, and people go to the scene. We don't have anything where our coroner investigators are being taken care of because they're not first responders, so they don't qualify for all that. They don't have any special distinction. We don't have anything when there's a shooting outside your business and all of your employees witness it. No one goes to provide grief support. We're missing those things. So, like, my goal is to create a regional bereavement coordinator position that works with the coroner's offices in all three counties, provides support and debriefings for the coroners, responds with them to anything that is suicide loss, overdose, or traumatic. So if the coroner's there and the family says it's traumatic, we'll get called. That way, we're reaching those people when they need it. You get to a scene, sometimes nobody wants to talk to you, and that's okay. But if we put in place an 18-month follow-up plan where we're still reaching out and we're still providing support and giving them that, okay, maybe I want to come talk to you, or maybe I need to talk to somebody, or no, I just need to know how to do this, but I'm not sure who to ask. By making those calls and doing those visits, we're getting that. So coordinating all that, so all those things are working together, I think would have a huge impact. I think that's a lot of what we're missing. We're not allowing grief to be present fully in our community because we don't talk about it correctly and we don't educate on it. And if we start there, then I think it could reduce additional suicides and additional overdoses.
Yes. It's like I don't know what to say about that. Like, but that is so true because you typically have people who they don't know how to express their feelings or what their feelings even are, right? I mean, I remember one time my son said, "Well, why are you mad at me? Why did you yell at me?" And I said, "Oh, I'm not mad at you. Sometimes fear and anger sound the same, right?" I said, "I got scared because you started running and there was a car coming and I yelled, not because I was mad, it was because I was scared." And sometimes those feelings sound very much the same. So imagine
Right.
when you're in a traumatic or a very hard position that you're in and you don't know how to express those feelings because you're not even sure what feelings you're feeling. And when you can have somebody to talk to, have somebody to reach out to when you're not sure who to go, I think that's an awesome, if we can get that. And if you
Yeah.
get that in Ohio, because listeners, just so you know, she's in Ohio. So if we can get that, and that can be even a case study to then go to other counties, right? And then go to other states and just have that ripple effect of approaching what we need as a society as a whole. So if that can't be done, what can individuals in a community do to provide more support for one another? Because, right, it takes a village, as they say. What can we do and what can we see to help one another a little bit more?
Be open and honest and share our grief. When we share our grief, it makes it easier for someone else to share theirs. Just letting people be aware, not shaming people for having grief, for being upset, for crying. I know I've worked hard to go through my grief journey, but there's going to be a lot of times that I still break down and cry, and I have to stop using that term. We don't break down. We have a typical response to an emotional situation. That's not a breakdown. It's not a step backwards. And we tend to think that as we're going through our grief journey, that that's what's happening to us when we start crying or when we have a rough day or when an anniversary comes up and it's just really hard. It's okay for those things to happen. And we need to check in with each other. We need to say each other's person's names. I need to ask you, what would Connor think about this interview? How would he feel about the event coming up? It's so important that we talk about them and we allow other people to do that as well. Say their names.
Yep. It's
That's
okay.
huge.
We want to hear it. Don't, from one parent to another, like, yes, we want to say their names. We want to hear them. We don't want them to be forgotten. And that is, I know for me personally, that's very important. Well, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about the Maker Empowerment Method. But before we go, Amy, tell folks how they connect with you, as well as you have a bunch of events coming up. How can they learn more information about the events and see if they can make any of those, or how they can support them in different ways?
Okay. YSU which is our Youngstown State University, local university, is hosting a Grief and Hope Awareness Walk that is going to talk about, we're going to have different stations set up to talk about grief and different parts of awareness and let people connect. That's going to be April 19th at 2:00 in Youngstown. We're having the Ride for Roy Suicide Awareness Bike Run. We had a period of immense loss in our biker community, and because we're the only ones that are on all those scenes, we caught that trend. So we bought an industrial strength sewing machine and a trailer, and we go sew patches so that we could talk to bikers. But one of our families does a run that we benefit from because of that. We do an awareness walk later in the year and a butterfly release, and you can find all of it on our website, suicidepostvention.org, or on Facebook, Grief and Loss Emotion, or Trumbull County Loss Team. Or you just call me and ask.
Thank you, Amy. I'm Erica Gifford Mills, and you are listening to Get Rooted Radio, living it up, loving it up, letting it go. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Tired of feeling exhausted as a parent? I would love to help you with a new vision for yourself that is focused on intentional wellness parenting. My name is Oralee Cormier, and I have over 40 years experience with complex cancer patients. I offer consultations, coaching, and educational programs for parents who want to boost their health and reduce risk of disease, especially cancer. For more information, go to OraleeCormier.com.
Are you ready to listen to your soul? Discover the power of pausing and turning in on Our Soul Whisper with Kathy Belmont and Dr. Pat. This sacred show offers a safe space for self-discovery, healing, and soulful transformation. Let your inner voice rise, be heard, and gently guided into expression. Tune in every first and third Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio. Subscribe now so you never miss the whisper meant just for you. Visit OurSoulWhisper.com.
Rethinking your purpose in life? Become a certified hypnotherapist and regressionist today. Bryn Blankenship is a renowned certified master hypnotherapist, international instructor, and author. In addition to her own show, Afterlife Teacher, Soul Lessons Bringing You Full Circle, Bryn is a popular radio show guest who speaks about her soul expression spiritual regression, her transformative method for finding and following your soul's guidance. For more information on her hypnoregression and afterlife regression certification programs, visit brynblankenship.com.
Welcome to Shanti Mission, a school for the soul. If you're seeking personal transformation, deeper spiritual awareness, sacred music, or the support of a welcoming community, Shanti Mission offers signature workshops and healing programs in a warm and inclusive space, designed for growth and connection. For more information and to access free resources, visit shantimission.org. Together, we can anchor peace.
We're back on the special edition of Get Rooted Radio with Erica Gifford Mills, living it up, loving it up, letting it go. Don't forget to visit getrootedradio.com to listen to a replay of this episode, sign up for helpful tips, and learn more about upcoming events. That's getrootedradio.com. Welcome back to my guest, Amy Zell. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thanks so much for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Yeah, so during the last segments, we learned about Amy's origin story, discussed how grief changes us, and the importance of community support. During this segment, we're going to discuss Maker Empowerment Method. So before we get into all that, tell listeners, what is the Maker Empowerment Method?
So I spent a long time after Tyler passed looking for ways to affect our community, do prevention programming the right way without having that social work background, looking for ways to make things happen. And about 9 years after, I was pursuing a master's degree in library and information science. I was working at a library after his loss. I had not ordered his stone yet. And I wanted a stone at the cemetery for people to go leave their grief. Go get in it and leave it there. And at a makerspace event where I was doing continuing education, they were talking about the maker empowerment theory. And the maker empowerment theory talks about this being a design world. And if we believe it's a design world, then we have the resourcefulness and creativity inside ourselves to change it through making. And something in me just clicked. And I went back to the back room where they had the laser engravers, and I asked if they would make a stone for me. And they said, no, absolutely not. I was like, oh, okay. And I just walked away. I ran real quick away. And I went to the other room and I asked the other guy because I thought, well, he'll do it. And he said, no, absolutely not. And he said, you already told her no. The other guy was standing behind me. He ran with me and I didn't know it. And he said, yeah, we'll help you, but we will not do it for you. So they taught me how to use a laser engraver for the first time and a MacBook for the first time and design this stone with Tyler's name and his dates. And all of a sudden, I felt like I could do anything. And I felt like if Tyler had had some of that, if we changed the way we have our thought process, where we're not just learning something and taking a test and failing or passing and moving on. Now, Tyler usually passed, but he was very hard on himself. He was wanted everything in his world lined up and perfect and wonderful, and he wanted it to be a better place than it was. So he had a really hard time with the fact that he couldn't change it. He created a home library in third grade, or he took his home library into school in third grade in the classroom. So his friends could pass AR tests and go to the pizza party with him because there were no books in the classroom. He did snack attack, which he collected snacks at lunch that were getting thrown away and took them to a community center. Then said it was the worst thing he ever did because no child should have to take a snack from another child. So had me take them after that. And I was like, wow, like you're way beyond I am. I was just proud. That maker empowerment, that's where it comes from. That maker empowerment theory is we created a system that helps people understand that instead of going from I did this and it didn't work, and thinking ultimately some of us take that into I'm a failure instead of just it didn't work. And we carry the I'm a failure, we keep building on the I'm a failure part. If we could take that part away and recognize that in design thinking, you have to fail 3 times to be successful, I think it can make a difference. So we use a lot of that. It's a program that I created. We use it to work through our grief. We use it for people in prevention to help with mindset, and we use it to help discover where we need to go. We also have specific maker grief programs that follow along the same line.
I love that because there's so many times that you do carry I'm a failure, right? And like you're gonna fail in life. I mean, it's inevitable. I mean, you don't start off as an expert in everything. You don't start off that everything's going to work, right?
We don't learn
I
until
think,
we fail.
right. Yeah, it's what I love the quote, and I'm gonna get it wrong, but it's like I don't fail. I either win or I learn.
Mm-hmm.
And if you even look at that one step further, if you're learning, you're also winning.
Right.
So, I like that because it gives you permission to fail. And when we have permission, it feels like, okay, it doesn't matter. I can do this, and we can give it another shot. And we have that, we know that there's more behind it. So how does that creativity help them reconnect with the meaning and hope?
So we recognize,
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, go.
Okay. So we recognize when we're grieving, we're not just affecting how we're feeling. It's not just an emotional thing. It's not just a mental thing. It's our entire body. So we have to recognize that grief lives in the whole body, so that we have to find other ways to access it and how to bring that out. So creating gives us that opportunity to take something that feels so invisible and hold it in our hand. If we can take our minds away from grieving for a little bit, or if we can fully go into our grieving while we're making. So maybe we're making a memorial ornament or an heirloom angel or something like that. Maybe we're making a lithophane, which is the photo that lights, you don't see it until it's lit. Maybe we're doing a project like that. We're talking through our feelings as we go. That's so beneficial for somebody who's not a support group person. Recognizing that we don't all heal the same way because we don't all grieve the same way. We have to have other ways to be able to do that. So we want to do some meaning making when we do our programs, and that the Maker Empowerment Method allows that.
I like that a lot. That's because you get I say antsy, right? I mean, you said like, you can't sit still. You don't know what to do with your hands. Your thoughts are racing. And when you're being creative, you usually are using your hands in some way, whether that's art, writing, dancing, right? Theater, whatever that might be. There's so many ways to be creative. But then you're also using your mind because you're actively doing something. And that's also why I feel like exercise, right? Doing something physical. And I don't mean like, going out there and lifting weights yes, you can do that, but like, you don't have to be, it's something that's keeping your mind and body moving, because if your mind and body are moving, you're alive.
Yeah. And one of the things with suicide loss is a lot of us feel like that was the moment we lost all control. And we spend the rest of our time waiting for another shoe to drop. We never really feel like there's control again. So when we're creating something, we're taking back that agency. We're kind of saying, instead of this happened to me, look what I'm creating from it.
I'm just having some, yes moments, right? And people who know me are like, wait, she's at a loss for words. That can't possibly be the case. But you find these aha moments when you don't expect to. And they're also like, well, yeah, duh. And then you feel a little silly because you're like, well, that makes complete sense. Why didn't I think of that? But it's because you aren't thinking correctly, right? Your mind is not focused. It's not sharp. You've got that kind of cloud.
Grief brain.
Grief brain. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. It's a thing. It really is.
It really is. People should know that. We need to tell them that. It's okay if you can't remember where you put your phone and it's in your hand.
I can't find my phone. I'm using it as a flashlight right now, but I didn't realize that. Yes. I'm looking under the bed with my phone as a flashlight saying, what are you looking for? I can't find my phone.
I have been on my phone telling people I can't find my phone. I called you because I can't find my phone when you call it. What?
What?
But it happens.
Do you realize that doesn't make any sense? You're like, what are you talking about? No, it is. It's so true. You get on a story and you're like, where was I going with that? I don't even remember what I was talking about. How did I start? And it's because you start remembering and you start thinking, and it's great. Well, let's take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to finish off the show with transforming personal grief into service and advocacy. This is Get Rooted Radio with Erica Gifford Mills. Living it up, loving it up, letting it go. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Erica Gifford Mills has written the book that is about to change your life. If you yearn to branch out, to take a leap of faith, to love yourself and others fully, and to finally let go of whatever no longer serves you, then Erica's book, The Rooted Life, Live, Love, Let Go, is for you. Readers will learn about how their values affect every aspect of their lives, why self-care and self-love is a critical first step to stopping limiting beliefs and negative thoughts in their tracks. The Rooted Life, Live, Love, Let Go teaches readers who are ready to unlearn unhealthy patterns to set, communicate, and keep their boundaries, to live with passion on purpose, and to create goals with the intention of putting them into action. Once you pick up your own copy along with the companion workbook, you'll be one step closer to being fully equipped, empowered, and enlightened on your path to be yourself for yourself. If you're ready to plant powerful and intentional roots to live it up, love it up, and let it go, visit getrootedradio.com.
Festa della Donna with Esther Graham honors all women far beyond a single day of celebration. Regardless of your race, gender, sexual orientation, or religion, Esther helps you rise to your full potential to live fully in God's plan and to do what you were divinely created to do. Festa della Donna offers programs that help you fulfill your dreams and desires. For more information and to get your free copy of the Festa della Donna Retreat Self-Care Guide, visit fdbwomen.com.
Want a speaker who can inspire your audience and keep them laughing and learning all in the same moment? I'm Erica Gummany, and that's exactly what I hope to do when blending personal stories, deeper spiritual insights, and practical wisdom with a whole lot of humor that keeps everyone engaged. My intention is to create safe, transformative spaces where real growth and connection happen. Book me to speak or facilitate something amazing at yourpivotalpoint.com.
Without Fear is a Chattanooga-based death doula practice helping individuals and families navigate end-of-life transitions with grace, courage, and compassion. Death doula Alexis provides emotional support, practical guidance, and space to explore life's deepest questions. Through grief support, workshops, and education, Without Fear is breaking the taboo around death and empowering people to embrace mortality as part of living fully. Visit withoutfeardoula.com to learn more and find a safe space for all things life, death, and the in-between.
There is more to life than simply surviving or even thriving. There's flourishing. High performance and quantum success coach Beth Larson helps you calibrate and elevate your life. Beth specializes in working with women who want more from their life, more energy, joy, passion, connection, and more meaning. As your coach, she will help you get clear about your life, prioritize what's important, and become a master of your energy. Visit BethLarsonCoaching.com.
Welcome back to the special episode of Get Rooted Radio with Erica Gifford Mills. Living it up, loving it up, letting it go. If you missed any information during the last segments, go to getrootedradio.com to listen to the replay. Don't forget to subscribe, sign up for tips and special events, and pricing for upcoming coaching and speaking sessions at getrootedradio.com. Welcome back to my guest, Amy Zell. Amy, thank you so much for being on the show today. And also thank you for all that you're doing for me in an upcoming project that we're working on together.
I'm so excited about it.
Yes. So listeners, I want to tell you about this before we jump into our last part of our show today. On Saturday, July 18th, we will be hosting the second annual Mental Health Awareness and Suicide Prevention for Active Military and Veterans in memory of my son, United States Marine Corps Sergeant Connor Mills. This gathering brings together families, community members, wellness providers, veteran-focused organizations, and local businesses, all united to support mental health, connection, and hope. And Amy has been a huge part of that. And Grief and Loss in Motion is helping not only with t-shirts, but with patches. And they have been just so, I mean, she's been great to work with. So I want you to tell folks how they can connect with you, how they can see this year's t-shirt, that even if you can't attend the event, which will be in Newton Falls, Ohio, how you can help support by getting a shirt, or by supporting to go out on our Facebook page and either donate to be a sponsor of the t-shirts or be an overall sponsor. You can let me know if you'd be willing to do a basket, or just donate to our beneficiary, which is Stop Soldier Suicide. So if you've heard the other special episodes of Get Rooted Radio, you've heard about Stop Soldier Suicide and their Black Box Project. So please consider donating, because we need all to be louder than the silence. And this nonprofit is dedicated to preventing military and veteran suicide through data-driven, personalized support at no cost to those that they serve. And we are honored to support their critical work again this year. But just remember that this event is more than a moment on the calendar. It's a promise that we will keep talking about mental health, that we will keep showing up for our military community, and we will do everything in our power so fewer families experience the unbearable loss that mine and Amy's has. So, Amy, tell folks how they can get connected with you, how they can see this shirt that we have for this year's event, and all that fun stuff.
So the shirt's on our website. It is up now and ready. It's suicidepostvention.org/shop. So you can go on there and you can see the front design. We're not showing the back yet because there's still room for people to sponsor. Hint, hint, hint. And they contact you for that through the Facebook page. But that's something we could add there too if we needed to. We're super excited about the patches too. The patches are incredible. I don't know if you could see it. If I show it, you can. Look at that. That's the patch. It has Sergeant Connor Mills, real nice and big. And then you can add names. So you're able to get an additional tab. So like Tyler's is in green instead of the yellow because he's not military. We want to have that distinction because it's so important that we continue to remember our military that we have lost to suicide. And I love the Black Box program. I think it's incredible. We do a retrospective fatality analysis that is interviewing with the families to give the family a voice, but it's nothing like what the Black Box does. It's a great program. So we love what they're doing.
Yeah, it is great. I really appreciate all that they have done, and they're so very. So even if you're not in the military, it's open to military and non-military suicide, loss, and their devices and everything. They're so careful with it, and they're so kind, and you're just loaning it to them, right? You're just loaning to them. They give it back. It's nothing that you're not going to get back, but it's just something that's so nice because they can learn from that, and they can potentially prevent further losses by the information they receive. So, yep. Yeah. So during this last few moments on our show today, we are going to talk about what it means to transform personal grief into service and advocacy, which is exactly what you have done. And now, how long have you been doing this? It's been like 12 years?
So Tyler's been 16 years gone, 16. And I lost him at age 16. So this year was a little different for me. It took me a long time before I found good quality training because I am one of those people who does believe that lived experience makes you an expert, but it does not mean that you can go out and be an expert for other people. You do need full training. You do need to find all the right resources. So I spent a long time doing all that work first. So we've only had the nonprofit for 3 years now. We started the loss team with just sending cards at Christmas time to let families know their loved one was being remembered. And we started that maybe 8 years ago. So yeah, it's still pretty new.
So what has it meant to you, and what has it meant for people who've told you, right? I mean, you're not putting words in people's mouth. People have told you how much that this has meant. So for turning, I mean, and I always say turn pain into purpose, wounds into wisdom. And yeah, those are catchphrases, but it's true. I mean, if I have to go through this, then it's something better come out of it. That's my philosophy for me personally. I'm going to make something out of this so that I can help somebody. Whether that's one person, whether that's 10 people, whether that's 1,000. But what has it meant to you, and what has it meant to others to go through that journey and go from the grief to the service to the advocacy?
It gives you purpose, gives you a reason to get up in the morning. For me, it's my son's legacy. I want people to know not him, but how to love like he did, how to feel supported like he did. I'm not one of those people that shares about him all the time. I share about him when it's appropriate and when it's needed. Because when you come in for service with me, we're here for you. We're here to talk about your loss. Mine just connects us. I think for a lot of people, grief eventually asks, what do I do with all this love now? And that's what moves us forward into advocacy and finding ways to help the community.
I agree with that, because grief is just love with no place to go. And you have all this love that you want to give. And it's not that you don't give it to this person anymore. I mean, of course you do, but it's like literally like you want to shower them with it, and they're not physically here to do that. So I've got to do something with this energy, with all this. And I love that. That's what you turn to do it. And, how does somebody get started when they want to move forward with something like this?
So I am a little different than a lot of people. I don't think we should all run out and start nonprofits, even though I have one. I have one because in my community, there were no services. There were 2 support groups, 2 counties over, and they were both during the day, and I worked. So I couldn't even go to them if I wanted to. There was no follow-up care. There was nothing being offered at all. So my goal was to make sure that eventually my county became a place where you could be a survivor of suicide loss and not feel like you were the only one it ever happened to. It was so bad in our area that one of our first tabling events for an Out of Darkness walk, someone came up to me screaming because I had the word suicide in a public space and just was yelling at me. And I was like, honey, sit down with me and tell me why, and I'll consider leaving. And it was because she hadn't spoken about losing her dad as a child at the age of 8, and she was 58. She'd never told anyone she lost him to suicide her entire life. They never mentioned his name after the day he died in her family. And just to watch her be able to release that pain, it's incredible. And that's why we need the connection. But getting started, I think the first thing you should do is see what's in your community, because little nonprofits need support. So benefits like the one that you're doing, where you're helping another nonprofit, you're still honoring Connor, but you're not creating something new. You're not taking money from other resources. You're not saying that he's the only thing that matters. You're making his legacy. You're helping other people, and you're helping continue that development in the program that's so important. I think that we have to recognize that sometimes that's what we need to do. That's why I'm so excited to come to your event. I'll benefit from some t-shirts sales, and because we're making them. But not because it's our event that we're benefiting from. But it's so important that we show up and support that too, because we all have to collaborate and work together. So I think the first thing you do is find out what's already happened in your community and see how you could be a part of it. Can you run a program that honors your person under another nonprofit so that you're not competing for funding, so that everybody's working together and everybody's being seen and all of our people are being remembered?
I love that. So I know we're out of time and we could keep talking forever. So please, ladies and gentlemen, listeners, come with us, attend Saturday, July 18th to the second annual Mental Health Awareness and Suicide Prevention for Active Military and Veterans. It's going to be in Newton Falls, Ohio. You can go out to Facebook, to the Facebook group. Just look up Second Annual Mental Health Awareness and Suicide Prevention for Active Military and Veterans. You'll see all the bands that are going to be there, all the groups that are going to be there, all the local service folks and the businesses. And then support any way you can, whether it's sharing the message, sharing the event in your community, donating to Stop Soldier Suicide, whatever you can do, we would appreciate it. I want to thank you again, Amy, for all you do in the grief and loss and motion, and what you do for just everybody in your community. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being such a strong voice for all of us.
And I want to thank you all for tuning in and to the special edition of Get Rooted Radio. If you missed any part of today's episode or want to listen again, go to getrootedradio.com for the podcast. And don't forget to tune in for our regular episodes on the first and third Monday of each month at 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central, and 2 p.m. Pacific right here on Transformation Talk Revolution. And as we close out our episode, I want to remind you that you are worthy. If you are hurting or need help, please know the world needs you and it's a better place with you in it. Don't let the hard days win. Reach out for assistance. Call or text or chat the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, or text HOME, HOME, to 741-741 to reach a trained crisis counselor through Crisis Text Line. Both are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and are free. Thank you for tuning in. I look forward to the next time on Get Rooted Radio with Erica Gifford Mills. Living it up, loving it up, letting it go. Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you for listening to Get Rooted Radio with Erica Gifford Mills, living it up, loving it up, and letting it go. Visit getrootedradio.com if you've missed any part of this hit show, and tune in on transformationtalkradio.com to live fearlessly in your more and powerfully rooted in your unlimited yes. For more information and to work with Erica directly, visit getrootedradio.com. That's getrootedradio.com, and get ready to live it up, love it up, and let it go.